Which 90s sitcom star would hug Kesha?
Well, Ted Danson in the 80s.
Okay,
Lovely
80s.
man. Who would be from the 70s? Who was the big... Mork and Mindy? Was that the big 70s? Tom Hanks is hugging.
Well, yeah, but I don't think Robin Williams is.
Oh. God, lady.
Well, I mean, because he's dead.
We got it. We have to cut that one like my Aaron Hernandez joke. I don't know what you need to apply to Hollywood, because that's what you apply to, right? You just
You send it. Yeah,
ship it to Hollywood.
Put the resume in a folder and address it to Hollyweird.
Yeah. So this is something that people apparently listen to because it's something they can listen to without having to care about what we're talking about. And that's we talked about that before. Yeah. We are the podcast equivalent, apparently, of white noise.
Yeah. I've been told that before.
In a positive manner, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Boy, apparently a few more people than we'd thought happened to actually think that, Steve. That this is no more than white noise.
I saw we had a couple of new...
Yeah, quite a surprise. No, it's not like we follow this live or die, but once every week or so, or a week or two, I'll check our reviews on iTunes to see if we got more.
Yeah.
A lot of it, honestly, is because I want to add to the list of the two people who we can call for 2 minutes of awkward conversation, because
which we haven't done in 2 months.
We haven't done because of the Steve 16.
Yeah,
it's been busy, but that will be coming back. So I check those a lot. So going to check these things, and quite the rude awakening when I looked yesterday and I see, for the first time since the inception of this podcast, which is 22 months ago.
Yeah.
22 months ago. Yeah, we have dropped below a 5-star rating. A random influx, I think it was 3 in the last week, of 1-star reviews with no comments, so they don't show us who left them or what
Cowards.
they are. At least have the fortitude to tell us what we're doing wrong. But there may be, I don't know, it feels like there may be something fishy afoot. But
I'd say so. I would say so.
Weird timing.
Yeah.
Weird. So if you would do us a favor, if you listen to the show and you happen to, and you like it and you listen to it on Apple Podcasts or iTunes, I know we say it a lot, but it's usually later in the episode, so a lot of people have moved into the white noise phase of the podcast. Please do leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, iTunes, whatever. And again, we don't really care. As long as we're enjoying this, we're planning on keeping doing it. But
although it is affecting our our monetary income from this.
Listen, there's different rates for 5-star and 4.5-star.
Yeah.
And once you start dinging our checkbooks, okay? Once Steve and I's pocketbooks start becoming affected. Now, Steve's got...
Because you go from... So, 5-star, you get 100% of the cash.
Yeah.
4.5-star, what are we down to? 80?
Yeah, it's like 80.
Okay, hold on. Let me... Calculator.
Now...
80. No. Let's see. So, I gotta...
Yeah,
I just had to add in the amount of... Yeah.
Right. Did you carry the one?
Yeah, so 80.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the amount of money. 0 times 80%. So 0.8. 0. Oh, we're still at 0.
Huh. So you mean to tell me that 80% of 0 is still 0?
Still
Steve?
0, yeah.
We did get, I don't know if you saw, there's a lot of Twitter activity this past week. We'll get to a lot of that later. There was an offer, I believe, of Stan the Movie Man wants to advertise on our podcast.
Does he really? Now he knows the terms.
I feel
that
like
we discussed last week. So minimum, he's got to cut us a check for like $4,000.
Yeah.
Of course, $1,000 of that is credit towards his renewal, which is mandatory and automatic.
Boy, these are becoming like. When banks started to do that before it became illegal, I appreciate all of your gouging rules that you're instituting.
Yeah.
I feel
we
like
have to protect ourselves.
Sure,
we're
the ones at risk here.
Well, I mean, technically, we're not the investor.
No,
we're the technically no. In no way are we the investor. We're the investee.
That guy could cut and run with his whatever garbage he's plugging.
Yeah.
Any day. And then what are we left?
What if he goes to the competition? What if he finds the JoJo and Billy Bob podcast?
Yeah. So if he does
what's to protect us?
So if he does that, we are currently left with what did you say we're now left with? The $1,000 credit toward the automatic non-refundable renewal.
Mandatory, yeah. Automatic non-refundable
as well
mandatory
as the
renewal. But remember, when renewal time comes around, the prices go up.
Well,
exponentially.
Well, also, we all know that there's record-keeping fees throughout the year. Mm-hmm. So it's like a security deposit, and this is in addition to the 1 year minimum paid. I believe you said 150% in full up front.
150%, yeah.
Okay. So
look,
we
want to know that you're committed, because we're committed to you. The Steve and Kyle podcast is committed to its advertisers.
Yeah,
advertisers first, everything else second.
Yeah, I don't
listeners, fans second, third,
snooze,
ninth, whatever.
I'll tell you right now, if every person on the planet hated the Steve 16, but something like Buffalo Wild Wings presents the Steve 16 was like the actuality, that would be back every single year without fail.
What's up, B-dubs? I like your chicken.
Wings Beer Sports.
Yeah.
Throat noises.
But yeah, exactly. Fits right in.
I mean, we need to get... I mean... Genius ideas.
Let's just go.
We're out here printing T-shirts.
Do we just go to the local one?
Yeah.
And just walk in. Hey.
Who's the manager on duty?
Hey, we need a national buy.
Yeah. Where's Mr. Wing? I'd like to speak to Buffalo Wing.
Yeah.
Is that a man or a woman? So that, that is something I think, and now I don't want to put words in Stan the Movie Man's mouth. He can clarify. I personally don't think he took you seriously when you told him the financial terms.
Serious as a heart attack, man. Yeah, serious as a heart attack.
I feel like we heard zero response this past week from the marvelous Patrick, who was the guy who No.
Oh.
I feel like we may have lost marvelous Patrick when we kept him hanging for upwards of 10 months without answering him.
Have we tried to reach out in any way other than this podcast?
No.
So we didn't just reply to the message?
I mean, there's still a message there if you want to reply. If you want to, send we'll get to it.
Yeah. I mean, in due time.
What's the difference between 10 months and 10 months and a week? I mean...
You know why? You know why we're taking so long to get back to him?
How's that?
Because these ratings, they're coming in.
Mm-hmm.
The rates are just getting higher and higher.
Well, wouldn't it be lower and lower?
Well, yeah. I mean, before last week. So we may have to go crawling back to him now.
The problem is, so now do we
Marvelous P.
We don't get time for the at-trick.
Marv Pat. That's what people call him.
Sure.
I don't know. Makes as much sense as Marvelous Patrick.
Yes, it does. You're very Marpat. I mean, we don't got time for the rest of that. We're on a schedule here, Steve.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm sorry. I stepped all over your intro again. That's like the third week in 3 weeks that I've done that on
That's right. So. It's Monday, April 9th, 2018, the year of our Lord. It's 4:43 p.m. It's the Steve and Kyle podcast. And what?
Sorry, we can cut that out. But did you have the 30 for 30 music you wanted to?
Oh, my good Lord. How did we not talk about this? I completely forgot about this.
I wrote up 2.
Oh, God. I killed it. I killed the whole thing.
I think it's fine. Because I think you do the intro like you just did. Steve and Kyle podcast Monday, whatever.
I wanted to do it right out of the intro, and boy,
I've got I wrote up a teaser. Now I have no idea if these are going to work time wise. I just wrote up. What if I told you? Then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines for the teaser.
Yeah, that's good.
And then ESPN Films probably % whatever.
Okay.
And then a full one later. That again, it's a crapshoot.
Yeah. Well, it's Monday, April 9th, 2018, the year of our Lord. It's the Steve and Kyle podcast.
Oh boy. Yeah. What if I told you that a room with less than 50 square feet would take more than just a long weekend to finish? That a long weekend quickly can turn into 9 days. That Kyle undertaking a, quote, do-it-yourself project was a poor idea from the start.
Okay.
That a bathtub installation could not be done in a half day but did in fact need a full day to install.
Well, it's like two halves.
That when the chips were down, it only got worse. That if one thing is not straight, you have to make the rest of the room not straight. The Steve and Kyle podcast proudly presents a 30 for 30 film, bathroom renovation. A success?
Oh, I like the upward inflection. A success?
Well, listen, Steve, this isn't a 15-minute podcast. This is anywhere between 90 and 2.5 hours. We got to keep the people tuned in.
Yeah, this is... Now, I was following along with the trials and tribulations.
Yeah.
Well, not really. I'd check every now and then just to see if you had posted any updates, make sure you were still alive.
I had people hanging on my every word and picture, and you're telling me you couldn't be bothered to concern yourself.
Nah.
Well, one thing I know for sure is you weren't concerning yourself with that trim that was supposed to be done a week ago.
Oh, no, not a chance. But I did at one point, I think it was on Saturday, Annette was going to text Katie to see what you guys were up to that night because we were going to try and get together. And I said, hey, when you're texting her, find out if Kyle's still alive or not.
Yeah. Safe to say, Friday did not go as hoped or planned.
We were ready. Bob and I were, Bob was in town again. We were ready to, we were on call. We were just sitting there waiting to be tagged in.
Yeah.
Tag us in, man.
I know it.
Because I know you had a battle.
It was a battle, and it's a battle with something that shouldn't have had a battle.
It's a battle with something that if you were to hand me one right now, I'm confident that within 6 minutes it would be installed.
Oh, boy, you sound like a real dick putting it that way.
I mean, I'm just saying. You know.
Do I need to remind you that every project that we have undertaken together has taken... at minimum double the time and triple the amount of trips to the hardware store.
6 minutes.
Okay.
6 minutes.
I hear what you're saying.
I'll go uninstall one from my house.
Okay.
Bring it down here.
And put it on the wall. Well, if we had room, I would suggest you do that. That needs to be addressed. So in the middle of this renovation of your home, now you've painted the walls, you put in new hardwood floor.
Yeah.
The one thing that, honestly, your last step is the trim that you have to finish, right?
Yeah, the trim. There's some other stuff that'll eventually have to be done, but for the most part, yeah, the trim. The trim is it's a bit of a thorn in my side right now.
But one of those things that you added, you changed out. Now you had a full-size sectional. Now this was part of your basement master bedroom in the old house.
Yeah,
right? This
was actually going back to my house. I had this,
was it?
I had this in my living room. When I moved in with Annette, we brought it over there. But yeah, we had it as we redid the basement, and it was a pretty big room. Mm-hmm. So half of it.
Oh man! Now you may have stepped on that one, but
I think there's going to be plenty of good stuff there.
We are already at 2 for the 2019.
Oh, I think we're at more than we're not at more than 2?
No, I've only got 2 written down. This will be the second one written down. For the 2019 Steve 16, which again, we have the entire last half of this episode dedicated to breaking down the national championship.
That one right there, that was Flem State. Definite number 1 seed.
It's done. Locked up now.
So getting back to this, we had the couch that was at the old house. It was down in like the living room part of the bedroom that we had at the old house. Brought it here to the new house, and I love the couch. It's so comfortable. It's big. It's got like the lounger on one side, and it's where I sit and do my work, and it's just really comfortable. Well, in the new house, it doesn't really... I mean, it fits in the room. It fit just fine, but it was like... It's an L shape, but the L goes the wrong way for the room.
Right. It's against a wall that shouldn't be. Like, it looks a little weird.
Well, it basically, like, the lounger stuck out right in front of the fireplace, which it just... I don't know. You want to be able to look at the fireplace. I don't want to have to, like, look over the back of the couch at the fireplace.
Sure.
So we got a new couch that is oriented a little bit differently. It's a little smaller, fits the room a lot better, and so I decided to bring this one down here.
Yeah, you did.
Well, this is my my room for maxing and relaxing now.
Yeah, this is the Chillaxing Pad, I believe is what you referred to
Chillax Pad.
Yeah, the Chillax Pad. So what we had down here before was essentially this very large. I mean, you can use it as a bedroom, but honestly, it's more of a den type of thing.
Yeah, it's probably 12 feet wide by 20 feet long.
Right.
Maybe?
And what we had was just this bed that was behind us against the back wall, and then nothing. So we had essentially a lot of room for our folding table, our setup here, the APS 3.0. So what you've done is you've taken that sectional and put it where the bed was. So you mentioned the L section.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the regular couch is about as wide as the bed was. So now...
Oh, it's probably 4 feet wider because the bed ended right there. You see the impression
on
the floor.
And but now the L portion, which butts up right against Steve's chair.
Right here.
Is
back of me.
Is literally against his chair. Yeah. So you told me when I walked in that you had to do some slight renovations.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not the only one that's seated a little tight now.
Yeah. I had to climb over an ottoman to get in, which again, not a big deal. I understand. Who cares? Mm-hmm. It's fine. The one thing. Now, you spent... How many hours did you spend... You mounted the Jumbotron the first time you talked about it. You said, I'm mounting this Jumbotron, and then the next day...
Yeah.
It was on the wall.
Uh-huh.
We had joked about it in the past, about how it's over my right shoulder. If I were to take a panoramic... Here's what I'll do while we're recording. I will take a panoramic photo of my view of what I see when we record.
So basically, you're going to see me...
Yeah, the
wall,
couch...
bed, chair, wall, more wall, more wall, more wall.
Yep. Doorway.
And then just at the last second, just as you're bringing that camera all the way around.
Yep. You're going to see the Jumbotron, which I joked about when we mounted it, was useless to me because it is essentially, again, if you're using the clock, it is at my, what would you call that, 5:30?
Yeah.
4:45?
4:30, 5 o'clock, somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's useless to me. I'm pretty much basked like an angel in the glow of this...
you have a bit of a halo.
Of this screen that you can see, and this is how I have to look at it. I have to shove my microphone stand with my face out of the way so I can turn around and see what we have on the docket.
Look, it's a work in progress.
It is. And you know what else is a work in progress? The APS 4.0, Steve.
No, actually, it is
coming to you April of 2018.
It's not in progress at all.
APS 4.0. That'll be a fully renovated room.
Can't stress.
Very excited about the potential and to see where the Jumbotron seats.
No progress. It's not in progress. It's not.
Legitimately, when are we breaking ground on this project?
I told you, April 2019.
We're breaking ground in April 2019?
Yeah.
Now, are you trying to kill the podcast first so we don't have to do this again? Is that your end game?
I'm just making sure everyone's committed.
Committed? We're at episode 90, and now you're worried about the commitment.
Oh, yeah. You never know.
So you're going to...
Drywall costs a couple bucks.
That's why we monetize this. Which, by the way, Steve talks about commitment to me right now. Before we started recording, we were doing what can amount to our only prep work to making sure everything works, which is go, do mic check 1.
On, check 2.
I don't know. Sounds like things are working. I can hear you. And my microphone wasn't on. And you said, must be me just trying to get to the one-man show I really want.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a joke.
Want the record to note, I have monologued minutes at a time while you've run errands. I believe one time you went and folded laundry.
One time I went and got a stack of license plates.
Yes, you did.
Because we wanted to check to see if my parking ticket...
We still need to figure... How many...
I think it's been expunged.
If you were to try to even quantify, on average, let's say a month... How many loose ends does this podcast leave that we never tie up or never resolve?
Every month? Oh, boy. At least a dozen. There's at least 3 a week.
There really is.
Where we still don't know where James Brown's legs are.
Yeah. And these are things I feel terrible about. We still have that, or they're gone now, but the stack of license plates that...
Oh, they're right up there.
Oh, we were going to follow through. We were going to find out for sure what that ticket was.
Yeah. We still need to know if you can buy P. Billy 4's arm ashes
arm meat ash on the dark web. That has to be available somewhere. Yeah. There's so many loose ends. You know what? Let's try to tie those up.
We're going to have a loose ends episode.
Hashtag loose ends. Message us or use Twitter or Facebook this week when you communicate. Hashtag loose ends. What is the loose end that has bothered you the most?
Well, I know one that somebody tweets about it every now and then.
Oh yeah, it'll be the first thing coming out.
The Vegas story.
Now the Vegas story. We started this. The first episode of this podcast was released June 18, 2016.
Okay, coming up on 2 years.
And I talked about telling the Vegas story in August, I want to say, of 2016. Mentioned it, has to have been 5 or 6 times. Went to Vegas again this January. Still have not told the story. There's still...
Is there anything that's of any value?
No, it was just a funny story. There's nothing... I mean, it's not me doing anything wrong. It's not debauchery. I just thought it was a little chance for me to monologue and maybe rant a little bit.
I can't wait for you to tell this, and it's just going to be like, yeah, I had an omelet at breakfast.
Hey.
2 eggs.
What am I? Atlantic City? This is Vegas. That's a 4-egg omelet, am I right? I don't know why it's Jerry Seinfeld-ish now.
What's the deal?
Yeah, what's the deal with 2-egg omelets? Oh, that's it. I know we put out the call for more Steve impressions last week.
Did we get any?
There was one. I'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
But yeah, hashtag loose ends. If there's a loose end that's been bothering you in the 90-some episodes of this podcast, outside of the one that I know a lot of people want to know, that again, that story's never going to be told.
Of course.
Please use hashtag loose ends. Let's see. Let's start tying these up. Let's get tied up shoelaces, people walking freely, not just dangling. Yep. You know, let's fix the problems that we have made ourselves by not doing it. So if you didn't tune in last week, which you missed a gold mine, because we have uncovered the way to the riches for the Steve and Kyle podcast. Now, in our discussion about advertising, we realized that you, Steve, have a gift.
Yeah. I'm curious as to how this is the pathway to riches for the Steve and Kyle podcast as opposed to the pathway for riches for Steve.
I feel like the intellectual property discovered on the Steve and Kyle podcast is kind of owned.
Oh, the intellectual property. I did create the logo.
Sure. Well, that... Boy. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. But I figure nobody wants to advertise with just Steve and Kyle, right? You can go to any podcast, have Joe Schmo and his cousin read off your stupid advertisement about what you're getting delivered. But how many people, Steve, can have James Earl Jones, Field of Dreams era James Earl Jones?
Yes, we're talking, what was the name of the movie? I remember the book that he wrote. It was like the boat worker or something.
I haven't seen this thing more than a decade. I saw it when I was a kid.
What the hell was his name?
But you have honed in on not just a James Earl Jones impression from the Field of Dreams era, one line from that era. So again, that also includes... in your advertisement that you want read on the Steve and Kyle podcast, you have to somehow include the words, "People will come, Ray."
People will most definitely
most definitely come. Or if you can move those words around to make your full advertisement, Steve can do that. And late in the podcast where we ran out of time, you were honing in on your Barack Obama. I think you were getting to nail that down. So we discovered that Steve... a 37-year-old?
Yeah. Almost 37.
37 in May. 37-year-old white man. You have an affinity for AARP card-carrying members of the African-American celebrity community and the ability to do those impressions.
Yeah. I take great pride in it.
Sure.
I already forget how to do the impression, so I'm frantically
Oh, you're trying to pull up the JEJ?
Ray.
Huh?
People will come, Ray.
Oh, of course. Okay, let's start that over again. I got to make sure.
Well, clear it out. I mean, you've got water, you've got plenty. Now, this is fascinating for me to be able to watch. To be able to watch a true master work in his element, meaning a folding table in his basement.
How now, brown cow? How now, brown cow? The brown cows are particularly foul-smelling.
Wow.
That was a vocal exercise in voice and diction at Monmouth University.
Whoa. This is a true treat. I'm in the natural arm. I feel like one of those voiceovers from the Nature Channel. I feel like I'm probably talking too long now. That's why he's constantly clearing his throat. Oh,
that's what I do to get in character.
Sure.
Yeah.
And again, in character is an elderly black man from the 1987 film Field of Dreams.
Whose name I still don't remember.
Still can't get it? Are you kidding?
No. I want to say Moonlight Graham, but Moonlight Graham was the doctor that they went and found when they time traveled.
Well, obviously in the Field of Dreams. Not Back to the Future? Is that Back to the Future?
No, it was
Field of Dreams.
Yeah, they kind of
There was time travel in there? I don't remember.
Well, there was a time travel aspect to it because James Earl Jones, whose name I don't remember.
Moonlight.
No.
We'll call him Moonlight.
No, that was the doctor. That was Doc Graham. And they brought Doc Graham, or they left Doc Graham, but it turns out Doc Graham had already died, and then they cleaned off the license plate, and it was like 1950 something.
Sure.
And then they're driving back, and they pick up a hitchhiker, Archie Graham. People call me Moonlight. And then they realize, holy crap, we just picked up this guy from the past, but in the way past. And they bring him back to play baseball. Fast forward a couple days. Ray's daughter falls off the bleachers, chokes on a hot dog. Moonlight Graham walks off the field.
So you've got this James Earl Jones impression.
Goes from a young buck baseball player to old man doctor. They can't go back.
I don't remember that portion at all.
All right, your assignment is to watch the movie in its entirety.
Oh my goodness. I was never even able to give you a follow-up on one thing after more than a year that I finally did watch, Steve, of yours. So let me just say...
it's got to be The Money Pit?
Let me just say your recommendations are a tidbit sullied at this point in time.
I on the side gig today, I went on a bit of a rant on the movie The Money Pit about how great it was.
So between this podcast... and your side gig, are we trying to alienate anybody under 30? Is that our goal? We're talking Field of Dreams, Money Pit.
Ray. People will come, Ray.
People will come, Ray.
Oh, that's so nice.
Still good, right?
It's smooth. It's like you stepped back into it. It's like you're walking the diamond right now with Kevin Costner's character, Moonlight Graham, and you're
Ray.
People will come, Ray.
People will come, Ray.
Oh, that's nice.
It's the Ray. The people will come, I don't think sounds as great, but
it's not gravelly, but you get down to a point there in the middle of Ray, and it sounds beautiful. Well, we got a request on Twitter, and again, these are always welcome. Hashtag Steve Impressions.
All right.
Hashtag Steve Impressions. This for any, and again, we've explained to it. I don't need to beat it into your skull. You now know the parameters that we need to investigate if Steve can finish.
Terence Mann.
Oh, that's the
James Earl Jones.
Really?
In Field of Dreams.
Huh.
Yep. All right, moving on. So what do I got to do?
Max Kramer on Twitter request. I feel like Steve could really pull off. Do you have any guesses?
Is it following the...
And you know what? We're lucky with this. Because honestly, same era. Probably the most famous during this era of James Earl Jones in the Field of Dreams. Iconic line that I think with some studying you'll be able to pull off flawlessly.
Okay. Is it...
Ray.
Ray.
Ray Charles?
People will come, Ray.
People will come, Ray.
Oh, that's nice. It is not James Earl Jones.
Okay.
I feel like Steve could really pull off Danny Glover. Now, I don't know anything specific about a Danny Glover impression, but obviously I think we're both familiar with his most famous line from Lethal Weapon is, "I'm getting too old for this S."
I'm too,
And that,
okay,
obviously...
I got the clip right here.
I'm too old for this.
Oh, boy, that is like...
It's like raspy. I'm too old.
That's really raspy.
Is there a clearer version of that? Did somebody bootleg that off of VHS?
No, it looks like it's somewhat official. He's standing on an overpass on his old-timey bag phone.
Sure.
The
phone of the era.
All right, let's hear it again.
And I don't mean to put you on the spot.
No, it's fine. I think I can do this.
I'm too old for this.
I'm too old for this.
That's not bad. You're too white. So is there any way you can make that less white?
Okay. All right, let's try it again.
I'm too old for this.
I'm too old for this.
That's not bad.
I think it needs a little work.
It needs a little work. You know what? We've got time. We'll come back to it.
I'm not comfortable with it yet.
We'll come back to it. Again, your 50-plus African-American people of fame, politicians, celebrities, whatever. Send them our way. We'll see if Steve can pull them off.
Yeah, I'm confident.
That's impressive.
I got nothing but time. So,
well, you're not. Lord knows the trim's not working, and that leads us to the second thing I wanted to ask you about, because I was left a bit scarce on details. Now, last week when I arrived, and I apologize because this is one of those loose ends that wasn't tied up, I made a promise to the audience 2 weeks ago that when I got here last week, I would get to the bottom of you and this old man from Missouri, I'm assuming, and the deal of the century,
Jamie,
who had left you high and dry up till then on the driver's side seat belt for your Jeep project that you were so excited about that you got this deal from this man. So I arrived to your house last week, and as you know, this podcast is want to go. It just goes off the rails. But when I walk into the garage, you show me a seat belt. You promptly... You're not going to put it in. We're about to go inside.
Yeah.
You start tugging on it.
Yeah, like any seatbelt. You pull on it, you release it, it retracts back in there. Now, you know how when you get in your car, like if you get in your car in a hurry,
Sure.
reach over, grab the seatbelt, and you pull on it too quick, it locks up. Or you slam on your brakes hard, it locks up.
Right.
I was trying to duplicate that while I was just holding the belt. I was pulling on it to see if it would lock up, because if the airbags had gone off in the vehicle that this seatbelt came out of, that feature either wouldn't work or wouldn't work correctly. So that's a quick way to test if the seatbelt's any good. Tug on it. Tugged on it, didn't lock. Tugged on it again, didn't lock.
Which,
at this point, you're walking up the driveway.
yeah.
Again, had time to. We had no time. So
Further reinforces the idea, by the way. This was a murder Jeep,
death Jeep. Yeah.
and that this seatbelt was no doubt exploded out of whatever thing is in the buckle portion.
That's a great description.
When somebody's life came to a drastic and abrupt end.
Now, I forget, how many people were in this Jeep?
With this seatbelt being exploded,
Oh, don't mind that.
I believe this brings our death total up to 5, but that includes the family dog.
Yeah. So, I believe the day after we recorded, I finally got a chance to install it. Went out there, hooked it all up, hopped in the Jeep, tugged on it a couple times. What do you think happened? Did it lock? Did it function as it's supposed to?
No, I think This old man, middle-aged man, I don't know if he's old. I don't know why I say that. I think he sent you a flawed driver's side seatbelt after 5 weeks of waiting.
I think I got a raw deal, huh?
I think your deal of the century quickly turned into the heist of the century, and this man is currently laughing his way
counting his money
to paying off his wife's medical bills.
I'm still in no way convinced that
No.
that is, yeah.
Could we check on that? Is that something if we call a hospital? And say,
Sure, yeah.
Hey,
You got an old lady there? She got a husband with a Jeep?
Hey, you guys see anybody walk through like a Jeep jacket?
Yeah. Someone there just got an envelope hanging out of their pocket that says "sucker's money."
Yep. Idiot from Michigan paid me all this.
Well, let me tell you, Kyle.
Yeah.
That seatbelt didn't give me any problems. It worked fine.
Hey, all right. So surely we're rolling out of the driveway this afternoon in that Jeep. You and me, we're going to go hit the town. What do you say? We go get a bite to eat, maybe a drink, pick up some chicks. What do you say?
Negative.
Huh. I feel like a couple of times you have implied to me that was the very last piece.
It was.
Like that, and like a non-essential piece. Not saying a seatbelt's not essential, but you know what I'm saying. To the vehicle operating, this was non-essential.
Perfect. Yeah. Unfortunately, things are now out of my hands.
Oh no!
Because last week I stopped at the Secretary of State's office. For some in other states, you would go to the DMV. Because there's a process I have to go through now to get this vehicle legal to drive. It has a salvage title. It has to be converted to a rebuilt title in order for me to get it registered and insured. So I go into the Secretary of State, talk to a very nice lady. She prints me out some paperwork. She says, all right, you have to have your vehicle. It has to have a safety inspection. Mm-hmm. Here are 3 phone numbers for 3 different people that you can get in touch with, and they will inspect your vehicle. Once you get it inspected, fill out this form, have them fill out this form, bring it back here, bring your title back. Done, done, done.
Yep.
No problem. Well, I called the first man on the list. Actually, there were only 2 that I can use. One of them is not in this county, so I can use that, but then I have to get an extra waiver sign. So I just tried to get the one.
So this is an inspection because it was a salvage.
It was a salvage vehicle. Basically, they just want to make sure the thing has like 4 wheels and it doesn't like have a seat made of knives.
Okay.
They want to make sure that it's not falling apart and that it's able to be driven on the road.
Okay. Seems fair. Now, does this out of your pocket?
You know, I'm not sure. I've heard that the inspection could be $100 depending on where you take it, but I've also heard that it's free if you take it to certain places. Like if you get somebody, in this case, it's a sheriff's deputy. I believe that there's no charge for it. Not positive, though. So I called this man on Monday, left him a message, which was no easy task because, of course, it's not. You call the phone number, and it says, if you know your party's extension, dial it now. Dial 9, then the extension, then the pound sign. Dial 9, dial the 4-digit extension, hit the pound sign. Nothing happens. Like, nothing happens. It doesn't hang up on me, but it doesn't connect me. It doesn't ring.
Maybe that's the way to like log into his voicemail. You're now listening to this inspector's voicemails.
So it's just silent. I'm like, all right, that's weird. Must have done something wrong. Because that was for his phone to ring at his extension. Okay. So I called back again, and there's another prompt if you want to leave them a voicemail. So I did that. I left him a voicemail. I was able to get that to go through. That was on Monday. Well, me being the impatient person that I am, didn't hear back from him by 8 o'clock Tuesday morning. So
a week ago from today.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Called him again. Left him another voicemail.
Sure.
Wednesday came around. I called him. Didn't leave a voicemail this time. Even though I couldn't actually get his phone to ring.
Had you considered driving there? I know you said it's not in the county, you didn't think, but had you considered just heading out there and seeing why nobody was answering?
Unfortunately, it's not the sheriff's office that's like a minute from here. I'd have to drive 25 minutes to a half hour to go out there. And I mean, I could, but I don't want to drive all the way out there for them to say, nope, sorry, Deputy so-and-so is not in, or, yeah, you got to make an appointment. And
sure. Because you're not calling during side gig hours, which you're not there at like 5:45 going, I can't wait. I got to give him a show.
No, calling between 9 and 5.
Business hours.
Yeah, exactly. So
you got 48 hours you haven't heard.
48 hours. I then called again Thursday. Couldn't get through. Called Friday. Left another message.
96 hours. 3 voicemails.
Yeah.
This is how deep into this you are.
Yeah.
Personally, I would have given up and went to the next on the list or whatever.
Well, like I said, the next one on the list is in a different county. Or the third one on the list is in a different county. Tried the second one as well. A little wrench got thrown in there because you enter... It's the most antiquated phone system I've ever dealt with.
Uh-huh.
So this one, I had... They didn't provide an extension for him, so I just had to call the main number, and then it's for our directory, press whatever. So I dialed that. So then I had to spell out his last name. Like start spelling his last name.
Vander Schnitzelusen.
No, it was Wright, W-R-I-G-H-T.
Oh, okay.
So I do that. But of course, there's 4 different like deputy Wrights there.
Yeah.
And I was not able to navigate and figure out what number to call.
Did you think about leaving one on all 4 Deputy Wright's voicemails?
It when I tell you that this really tested my patience, I considered I guess I could just sell it.
Oh,
like sell the vehicle.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you sound like me, but with a house.
Yeah. This was it was extremely frustrating.
Wow.
So here we sit. Now 1 week later.
Yeah. 5 business day. Well, I mean, if you count Monday, this is the 6th business day. Now, maybe they get Good Friday. Nope, that was a week and a half ago. No excuse there. We're on the 6th business day, and you have yet to hear back after 3 voice messages.
Yeah. Now, Annette said, well, it's spring break. Maybe he's on spring break. To which I say, you're an adult. Adults don't get spring break.
Sure.
That is a strange anomaly with this area that we live in, where parents go on spring break too.
It's unbelievable.
That's for children who are in school.
Did you ever have that when
No.
you were growing up? Was there ever this, we're all going to Mexico?
No, the only reason we did do that, but the only reason that we did is because my parents were both teachers, so they
had
had...
it off.
And we never went to Mexico.
Sure.
We went to South Carolina to visit Grandmom and Grandpa.
Took a drive?
Yeah, so we'd go there for Easter. That was, but no, like going on Disney cruises and, like you said, Mexico and we're gonna go on the booze cruise with our children.
It's so prevalent over here, and I noticed it at my work last week. I couldn't get a hold of anybody.
Mm-hmm. Oh, spring
and
break.
They're on spring break. Well, what? No, you're a 53-year-old manager of a large building.
Yeah.
You should probably be here.
And if you are going to go on spring break, just say that you're on vacation.
Sure.
Because you sound like a child when you say that you're on spring break.
I don't even care if you lie. Yeah, I'd take a week off, didn't have anybody watch the kids.
Yeah. The kids are on spring break.
Yep. You are not, because you were out of school when you were using abacuses and chalkboards.
Yeah. So, Deputy so-and-so might be on spring break. I don't know.
So it's not flying for you.
No, it's not. It's very frustrating that I put in all this work, spend a bunch of money to get this vehicle back to where it needs to be, and
making payments on a car you can't drive.
Now I'm just caught up in the red tape.
What's the next step? And our 2 questions. What's the next step? Mm-hmm. And 2, are you at the point when you finally do get a hold of this mysterious deputy Wright? Is it going to be...
That's a different person. That's not a deputy.
Oh, that was just like, okay, if you got... That's down the list. When you get a hold of this person, are we going to get maybe a little bit passive-aggressive Jersey Steve?
Not a chance.
Really?
Not a chance. I'm going to be sweet as sugar.
Oh, man.
How are you, sir? I am so sorry that I left you 2 voicemails. The phone system had me a little confused. I'm a big dummy. You know me. Big old stupid here.
You take a week off, don't tell a guy. What do you think you're doing, huh? That's what I need.
Is that me?
Yeah, that's you.
Oh, okay.
I need you to get full Jersey mode. Maybe not even passive-aggressive. Maybe just aggressive.
Aggressive.
Yeah. and then snap your fingers a lot. Like when you,
Hey. Oh.
check this out over here. Come on.
Hey. Yo.
Gotta go stir the sauce.
So I don't know what to do. The vehicle right now is not even here at the house. It's I don't know. I got a phone call right before we started recording. I had to drop it off at the alignment shop so I can get the front end aligned. So now, I mean, we are official. It is finished.
You have it all.
I've even done some other add-on accessories just because I'm bored and I can't drive it.
That's a bummer.
Yeah, so if anyone has a contact or something, let me know. If anyone knows somebody who works for the state, works for the county or something.
Yeah, what is the next step? Just keep calling?
I guess so.
There's not going to be a point
short
where...
of going back to the Secretary of State and just being like, I won't pick up the phone. What do I do?
There's not going to be a portion or a day it's going to come where you're just going to decide, I'm going out there and I'm not leaving until I get an answer.
Maybe.
Because I get it. It's frustrating, obviously. Right? Mm-hmm. But how long can you... Yeah, they won't answer again because it's another weekend gone where I can't drive my Jeep that I bought.
Yeah, I'm ready to go big boy vroom vroom up the sand.
Yeah.
They're holding me back.
You're at 7 weeks now until Big Boy Vroom Vroom up the sandhill.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're content with calling Steve, I'm content with saying you will not be going Big Boy Vroom Vroom up the sandhill.
I don't like that.
What if he's like 4 to 6 weeks out?
I can't imagine that many more people are doing.
Everybody's doing their salvage work this winter. They decided, it's salvage season here in the great state of Michigan. That's what everybody calls it.
Of course, yeah.
And you're just way down the line. You're not going to be able to go.
I'm chump change. I'm the newbie on the list.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to call up the other guys first.
Oh, man. I can't believe you're just content doing it. I'm impressed, but I would have lost patience by about Thursday. Or I'd be calling 2 to 4 times a day.
This is it's similar. Yeah, but the problem is I cannot call. The phone doesn't ring. The only option is leave a voicemail.
That's fascinating.
I even called the one time and I dialed to get connected to his extension. I dialed his extension and like I said, nothing happens. Doesn't hang up on me, but it doesn't ring. So I was driving home from work, so I did the hands-free did the hands-free thing. Mm-hmm. I was like, well, I got 20 minutes to kill now. Let's see. Let's wait this out.
Yeah.
So after about 4 minutes, it finally started ringing, and it went to a dispatcher. Dispatcher was very nice. I said, explain the whole situation. I said, I'm trying to get in touch with Deputy so-and-so at this extension.
Right.
It just won't ring. And she said, all right, I'll connect you to his voicemail. And before I could say no, I was connected to his voicemail.
It's like when you're in one of those customer service loops.
Yeah.
And you're like, please don't transfer me again. Yeah. Please don't. I'll transfer you.
I just gave the last guy my social security number. Why do you need... Don't you have screens that, talk to each other?
Yeah.
So when you bounce me from this guy to this guy...
Yeah.
All the info transfers over? No, I got to start from the beginning again.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Steve. I bought a vehicle. Can you help me?
Even our vet, the vet I use, it shows up on their caller ID or whatever. They know it's me calling. They know my pet names before I can even finish describing the issue.
Hi, Kyle. How's Watson?
Yet you're calling a government facility and given constant voicemail.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the only thing more frustrating would be if I had to call the post office.
Oh, come on. That's a dig and that's unnecessary and you know it. Those people are happy. They're there to service your mailing needs. And who calls a post office?
Tell you what, you find me a postal employee who moonlights as a vehicle inspector, this beef is dropped. We are done. I will praise them.
Sure.
Like I should.
So this has to go through a deputy. This can't go. It's not like a home inspection where you can hire out a third party.
I wish. I would have done it 2 weeks ago.
Oh, yeah. This thing's never leaving the garage.
No.
Because I want it. It's almost time. for us to do the on-air advertisement for the Subaru for sale. But we can't list the Subaru for sale without this Jeep being road certified.
Mm-hmm.
So now this is inhibiting the podcast, and that's a real problem.
Mm-hmm.
It's a real problem.
I'll be sure to let the deputy know that when I talk to him.
Hey, want to let you know 2 things. Going home to stir the sauce. And 2, you really made my podcast partner mad.
Hey, deputy. Okay, can I call you Dep? Got this podcast about 90 episodes in. And, sure seems like you're holding things up.
You ever driven within 5 blocks of this neighborhood?
My house.
Yeah? So you've heard of us.
So you've seen the billboards? By the way, thank you to...
I think it's Carl Furrow, I want to say. Nope. It's I think Chris Pruitt.
I think it was in messages.
Yeah, it should be Chris Pruitt. Sent us, there's a long list of messages. I chatted Wrestlemania with Chris Pruitt last night.
There we go. Now this... We had asked for this last week, new billboard ideas. So this one, the first one that he sent us, has the very obvious acronym. It's the Steve and Kyle podcast album art. Beautiful looking album art, by the way, with the acronym IYNGPFTFYCROTT. Or
rolls off the tongue.
Eingefikrot.
I'm good to be crop.
I'm good to be crop.
I like it.
Yeah.
I think that rolls off the tongue. Now, that obviously stands for if you can't pay the freight.
Yeah, that stands exactly. The well-known adage, if you're not going to pay the freight, you can't ride on the train.
Which, again, is the life motto that Steve tries to instill in everybody he knows. If you're not going to pay the freight.
Right.
You're not going to ride the train.
No, you can't ride.
You can't ride the train.
You can't ride on the train.
On the train. Boy, couldn't even shorten that.
Don't forget the O and crot.
Couldn't even shorten that for Chris to make.
No.
So again, our billboard campaign coming soon, but we may have to figure out a way to fit all of that on one billboard, which is going to be very difficult.
Right. No, not to. We'd be remiss, of course, if we didn't mention the original idea of the billboard with the acronym TTM. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, TTM LTPISHFBR, which, of course, as everyone knows, stands for Top 3 Most Listened to Podcast in Steve's House's 5-block radius. So
the billboard campaign grows, continues.
Yeah.
The budget then has to increase because we had to double the billboards.
You know what that means? Means ad sales, ad prices going up.
They have to. Listen, times are tough in the podcasting market. It turns out we're one of 3 billion podcasts with 2 white dudes talking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just talking about funny stuff.
Cracking wise. Steve and Kyle. Cracking wise and making you laugh.
Yep.
That's great.
Somebody put that on a billboard.
Put it on there. Put another one. SAKCWAMYL. Quammel.
Yeah.
Saquammel.
Saquammel. All right. So if we ever get phone lines and people call in, you have to start your call with Saquammel.
Well, we do. We could take phone calls. Do you think that's a terrible idea? Like if you and I one day, we decide, hey, wash our hands of the labor this week.
Yeah.
I don't want to spend the hours and hours that I do putting together all of this stuff and getting ready. Let's open the phone lines.
Open phones, huh?
Open the phone lines during an episode. Do you think that we would get, 1, any calls, 2, anything worth like recording and keeping?
Do I see anything? No.
You don't think so?
I think we'll still do it though.
Oh, we have to do that. We have to do open phones.
Yeah,
open
I mean, if
Q&A.
we're gonna have a hashtag loose ends episode, we have to have hashtag open phones episode.
Absolutely. Too. Hashtag open phones. We can plan that. That's not that hard. Mm-hmm. We have to do it in the evening because of most people who work.
Yeah, but
not like it matters.
Maybe we'll live stream it like we did the video live stream back at APS 2.0. We'll do the same thing, set up a camera, we'll live stream it, so that way people can actually call in, talk about what we're talking about, instead of having to like tweet out a topic or something.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah, me too.
Plus, less work for us.
That's true. Well, I think that could be like a weekend night episode, like a Saturday night episode.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah. All right.
Put that in the calendar. Add that to the loose ends episode when it never happens. But no, it's time that I discuss this, Steve. It's been bubbling. It's been we talked about it in, quite a bit last week. Mm-hmm. My DIY somewhat. I tagged it as Kyle kind of DIY. I had oh god, oh boy, I can't do this twice, can I? Hang on. We're gonna need to reboot it.
Okay.
Hang on.
You lose your page.
Give me a second.
Are you preparing to do a James Earl Jones, Terence Mann impression?
Everybody's got to loosen up a different way, Steve.
I want to hear you do. People will come.
Do you have it?
People will come, Ray.
Do you have it for me?
That was a good one. God,
and that was blind, no audio behind you.
So good at that line.
Ray. People will come, Ray.
People will come, Ray.
Oh, good God, that sounded
I know.
Garbage.
I can't. No, I. It's not. No, that's.
Right.
You put me on the spot
One
with
more.
a 1987 JEJ.
Ray.
Ray.
People will come, Ray.
People will come, Ray. No, it's
the,
too much
the
at the
Ray.
end.
The Ray is okay.
The
Ray's okay, but here, let a pro
show me one more
show
time.
you a JEJ TM impression. That's James Earl Jones, Terence Mann.
Ray. People will come, Ray.
People will come, Ray.
They'll come to Iowa.
They'll come to Iowa.
Even that Iowa was real nice. You're expanding the James Earl Jones vocabulary, which means we can accept more advertisers.
I can get the last line of every line, or the last word of every line he says.
You're killing it.
Yeah.
For reasons they can't even fathom.
For reasons they can't even fathom.
Wow. That was a little...
They turn up your driveway.
They turn up your driveway. I think I'm losing it a bit.
Well, that one I liked the driveway. The one before it was a little more Darth Vader-y than Terrence Mann sitting in a cornfield type of thing.
Well, you know, I gotta work on it a bit. It's a rock. It's not yet polished into a gem.
Yeah. Well, next week, Danny Glover.
Danny Glover.
Danny Glover, polished to a T. Mm-hmm. It's going to sound perfect. Mm-hmm. We'll have that next week. And then even more, you're telling me, James Earl Jones, Terrence Mann, Field of Dreams.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah.
Audience of one. It's a 1987 Kevin Costner movie.
I know, and it's so good.
And we are...
And I'm just making it better.
I love it. But yeah, I talked about it extensively last week, Steve. The DIY, we decided to rip out and start over on our bathroom. Oh, God, that's right. What if I told you that what seemed like an insurmountable project for someone like Kyle to attempt actually was just that? That it is very much okay to ask for help. That it is also very much okay to weep softly, unaware of the scope and time this project may take. That a towel rod would take not only one attempt, but 2 days and hours of labor.
Towel rod.
That hanging a door back on the frame would not go according to plan.
What?
That hanging a mirror from the wall would be the only item that took one attempt. That triumph comes not from the fact of a project being done, but of a project never needing to be done again as long as I live under threat of arson. The Steve and Kyle podcast proudly presents a 30 for 30 film. Bathroom? Done?
Oh, I can't wait to watch it. I can't.
If that's not selling you on the documentary about me running around like a buffoon trying to complete this disaster. Now, we talked about a lot of the heartache last week. The bathtub taking way too long to come out. Whatever.
Yeah.
So this project that initially was supposed to be from a Thursday to Sunday.
Yeah, that I remember thinking seems pretty aggressive, but I mean, what better way to do it than to be aggressive? So if you fail, you're going to fail miserably. If you succeed, to the victor go the spoils.
Sure.
I mean, you'll be popping bottles, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you So you pop bottles, right?
Well, let me say this. I finished it from Friday to Saturday of the following week.
So started on Thursday. Going
No,
to
Friday.
Started on Friday. Going to. Okay, so good 8 days.
Yeah, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It's 9 days.
Yeah.
9 days of work. 9 days.
Mm-hmm.
This room is estimating it's 50 square feet. 9 days.
That's being generous.
So it finally wrapped up Saturday. Again, no doubt, or no question that there were massive amounts of issues that that you had addressed a little bit earlier, and that you heard there in that riveting 30 for 30 advertisement. First things first, I need to talk about the towel rod situation.
This was an epic tale that we were following along with. Like I said, Bob and his lovely girlfriend Kristen were in town this weekend, and so I think earlier in the week, Annette had said to Katie, hey, we're going to try and go out one night this weekend or do like a game night or something at the house because we got some friends in town. So I had sent you a text saying, hey, we should get together. Yeah. I think it was on Friday night. Yeah, it was definitely, it was Friday night. We were going to go out to the local like winery brewery place and get a couple of drinks. And I said, well, let's talk to Kyle, send him a text. So I did that, and I don't know if you replied or you had sent me. I forget if I sent it or if Annette sent it, but basically you guys were in the middle of in the belly of the beast. You were working hard. Katie had replied saying something like, we're almost done. We just have this towel rod to put up. And that was at probably, I don't know, 4 o'clock or so.
Yeah, I could. Well, part of the reason that this became such an issue was because it was a lot of work after I had already worked a full day. So there was a few nights last week where it was, and I'm not complaining, but I'd get home from work 3:30, whatever, and I would not be sitting down until almost 9 o'clock working on random stuff, whether it would be grout, which I did all that.
Putting in the old work.
Elbow greasing my way through this bathroom.
Elbow greasing your way.
And Friday was the culmination of my frustrations trying to hang a towel rod.
Now a towel rod. I've hung many a towel rod in my days. Typically, it's comes with a little bracket that you put on the wall, and then you got the actual bar or hook that slides onto the bracket. Maybe a little set screw on the bottom. You tighten that up. Sure. Typically, you got to put in maybe 2 screws to the bracket, depending on if you're going into a stud or not. Mm-hmm. If you're not, you put in go 2. Put in some wall anchors, usually 1/4 inch. Drill them. Mm-hmm. Tap that little gray wall anchor in. Yeah. Line up the bracket. Screw it in. And then you pop the whole thing together. Hang a towel on it. Take a shower. You got your towel.
Yeah. All right, towel rod, Steve.
That's how it went, right?
Pretty darn close.
It was just spread out over a bit more time.
Yeah. So, what if I told you that measuring? What if I told you that measuring actually was an exact science? That a tape measure is something to not be trifled with.
What if I told you that those numbers have actual meaning, and they're not just there as notches on a piece of metal?
What if I told you that measuring while the towel rod's in between your legs and you're holding something in your mouth wasn't exact? That an eighth to 1/4 of an inch is a big difference.
Jeez, an eighth to 1/4 of an inch.
That's about how much I was off. So
didn't that normally, like the ones that I've put up, they always come with a bracket, or they come with a template, like folded up in the box.
Well, this wasn't new. This was just the one we had on the wall. We took off. So I essentially was measuring.
Were you putting it up in a different spot?
Yeah, it had been painted over, so the holes were gone. So we decided to just hang it back up. So I measured it, and I must have measured it or guesstimated a little willy-nilly.
I don't know. It looks like about a foot.
So get it up there, trying to mount the bracket now without getting crazy, stupid minutia on the world's simplest DIY ever.
Yeah, because there's no amount of explaining that makes you look good in this scenario.
No, and I'm more than willing to accept my idiocy. I'd be the first one to tell you. So I'm hanging this thing, and I realize that these brackets are too close together by about anywhere between, it's not a quarter of an inch, but it's an eighth to a quarter of an inch. So it's then pinching the actual rod in, which means it would not go flush against the wall.
Okay.
Which means that the tightening mechanism would not tighten.
Okay.
And in my fury and rage, the only thing I could think about was to rip the wall anchors out.
Please tell me you just grabbed onto the bar and
no. Well, don't worry, it wasn't hooked in. It would have just popped off, and the brackets would have stayed there laughing in my face.
You no doubt would have thrown it over your head by mistake in back of you, shattering a mirror or going through a wall or something.
Something else, like broken the quartz countertop that we paid an arm and a leg for. So I pull the anchors out and I say, you know what? We're going to have to fill those holes, patch it or whatever, drill an eighth of an inch to the left, which now the anchors are too big, so it's just going to drill out a bigger hole.
Yeah.
So at this point,
at that point, you gotta take both of them out. You gotta fill them, paint both of them, and move the whole thing like 2 inches to the side.
Never even considered it, and I wouldn't have done it anyway. But as far as I'm concerned, worst case scenario, 2 anchors were coming out, and that was it. So the next day, my uncle, the contractor, the guy who did a lot, honestly, most of the hard stuff in there. I mean, we did the grout, and I helped him put the van. We put the vanity in, all this other stuff, right? But he was doing a lot of the stuff, the technical stuff that I could never do, cutting the tile, the cement board, all this. Right. He had told me, and I don't know why. Again, it was a lot of days in a row of working on this. Said, just cut like a quarter inch off.
Well, that's what I had said to you too.
Is that what you implied? I don't remember.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I was like, well, as long as the ends of it aren't threaded or something.
Oh, right.
Just
I did pull on, like I tugged on and twisted a little bit, and one side was very in there. The other side, because of course, was not, so it came off really easily. So I had to saw, and of course, twice, because the first time I still didn't take enough off. So I had to saw it twice, and then in the saddest display of triumph ever, got the towel rod on the next day after.
So a towel rod somehow ended up in day 2.
Yeah. Yeah. Easily 3 hours on this. And now
again, 6 minutes or less, I would have that installed.
Now let's talk about.
I could use a towel rack right here because.
Would you? I mean,
well, you know how I always have a towel when we're recording.
Well, you know what? You're like a bar back.
You know why I don't always have a towel? Because I don't have a towel rack to hang it on.
I mean, it's just like me. I'd always have water if I had a water cooler nearby.
Yeah,
but I'm not allowed to.
Why not?
Talk to the wife. So, but let's talk for a moment, Steve, about doors, if we could. Now,
so you didn't get a new door, right? You used the same door?
No, just reuse the same door.
Take it off and paint it or anything?
Repainted it all. So you and I have an illustrious history with doors as is.
Yeah.
If you're newer to the podcast, during the construction of APS 2.0, Steve special ordered a double price Hobbit hole door because the dimensions were weird.
Yeah, it's weird how you pay more for less door.
Yeah.
You pay more for less door. See, that's how an ad could sound if you if you advertise on the Steve and Kyle Podcast Network.
How would James say that?
What was my line again?
People will come, Ray.
People will come, Ray. People most definitely will come.
Pay more for less door.
You pay more for less door.
How we don't have a lineup outside of your house right now is beyond me. But anyway, we spent a lot of time trying to hang this door. It never shut. It shut during a 1 month portion.
No, it shut in the summer, but once we hit fall,
it
didn't shut anymore because of the expansion and contraction or something.
Silly. So, it was taken off, painted. So before he had painted, I just had to take the doorknob and the lock off, and so that could be painted.
Take the hinges off too, or you paint right around them.
No, they got taken off. So I'm taking the knob off, and something I've done a few times, but I'm taking it off, and I realize, like, what the hell is this hooked into? The knobs won't come off. So I'm pulling for like 3 minutes, trying to see in the middle what's hooking. Is it locked? And then I realized that the bottom screw was just threaded really long and wasn't out.
Okay.
So I finally get I get the doorknobs off. No worries. That's barely a hiccup compared to the towel rod fiasco that I wasn't even aware of.
That's just I didn't see that.
Yeah. Paints it. So the next day it's dry. I put hinges back on the door, hinges back on the frame, walk in there triumphantly.
Got your door in hand. Now is it 2-hinge or 3-hinge?
Walk in there try.
Oh, is there 2 hinges or 3?
There's 3.
Okay.
So I walk in there triumphantly, carrying that door, line it up, drop 3 pins in, turn around and look, put the door in upside down.
So
the knob's about a foot higher than where it would like hook into the frame.
Okay, all right. So the doorknob's a bit off.
Yeah.
No big
deal.
So
I'm a little bit perturbed, but
now at this point did you say, I can live with that?
Yeah, right. I almost thought about just drilling out a new area for that doorknob to go, right?
I mean, it's a bathroom.
Yeah.
It's just you and your wife.
Who wouldn't want a 4.5 foot high doorknob? Well, like when you're walking away, it could hit you in the chest. It's so high.
You know, instead of replacing the doorknob, instead of putting in a new door or switching it, just install a light outside of the door. If you're in there, like when you're on an airplane, flip the switch and it says occupied. That way she knows. She knows not to come in there.
Sure. Just like our on-air light.
Yeah.
You know to stay away.
Yeah.
No worries, Steve. Pop that door off. Figure out the way it's supposed to go. Put those pins right back in. Door gets 75% of the way closed and shoots back like a slingshot.
So you somehow spring-loaded it.
I put the hinges that were meant for the frame on the door. So I didn't realize this until like 10 minutes. I'm like slowly, because there's no door stop, so I'm slowly pushing this door and it goes whoom, whoom, right back at me. And I'm thinking, what the hell? Do I need like WD-40? What do I need here? Like, this is inexplicable. So I go look at another door, and I realize that the 3, whatever you'd call prongs, I guess, hinges should be on the frame side.
Okay.
And the 2 prongs should be on the door side.
Yeah. To be honest, I would have never known that.
I should have looked.
And I still don't understand how that makes any difference.
No idea, right?
That's weird.
So I take the pins out until I get to the bottom pin, and it has been wedged in with glue, apparently. So
I already see your mistake.
I had to WD-40 the pin. Still wouldn't come out.
You can't take the other 2 completely out.
Oh, I did. I put them back in.
Oh, okay. And it
still wouldn't.
Really?
WD-40 ended up being hammer with a nail, but one of those awesome postures where you have, I don't know, 1 inch worth of space because it's the bottom pin. So I've got a little nail, like, me and a hammer going like up from bottom up, right? So really stupid. So I finally get this thing out. No worries.
Just swap everything over. You're good.
Take the door off. Hinges off. Hinges back on.
Now using a hand screwdriver, or you got a drill?
Oh no, we're using a drill.
Okay.
Put it back on. Door won't shut. You know where we stand today?
You got a curtain rod up.
The door shuts, but it's one of those. It might be seasonal, but a lot of the doors in our house do that, where they go into the door jamb,
Right.
but the lock, whatever, the mechanism that's supposed to go into the frame will not go in, so the door won't completely shut.
So it's either a little too high, a little too low. Something shifted.
Yeah, a little not on fire enough, because that's the next step. We're burning it down, Steve.
All right. So you're done. You did it.
9 days, and I can safely say the only thing that went well, that went right, one try, was hanging the mirror.
That's impressive.
I mean, there's two people. It was going to be hard to screw that up.
Because that's pretty much the same as hanging a towel rod.
Oh, my God. All right.
A couple brackets in the wall.
Okay. Oh, sure. Brackets. Yeah.
I mean, 6 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm telling next week, you bring a towel rod here. I'll expense it.
While we're doing the podcast, you'll install a towel rod above the gateway to hell.
Yeah.
Just to have a towel rod.
Just to prove I can do it. I mean, I can use it as something. Don't get a towel rod. Get a couple of hooks.
Okay.
That'd be good for headphones,
Oh, yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah. You bring me a hook. You bring me 2 hooks.
Yeah.
I'll install 2 hooks.
Part of the problem was me not having done this before. Because, again, I lived in an apartment. This is our first house. So I thought the actual brackets were going to have to be 100% level. Like, the actual bracket itself. Now, I understand the 2 brackets have to be level. Like, if you put a level on the 2 brackets, it should be even. But I thought the bracket itself had to be level. So I'm sitting there nitpicking with a child-sized level, trying to make sure. But you don't, because the little brushed nickel piece that goes over the top of it can adjust.
Fits way loose.
Yes.
As long as you're reasonably close.
Right. As long as it's not on a 45-degree angle.
Yeah.
I must have spent 30 minutes screwing and unscrewing. God, this thing just keeps tugging it, and it won't stay straight. Like, the towel rod's going to look like garbage. The most frustrating thing ever was that towel rod in a full bathroom renovation. But yes, Steve, long story short, the bathroom is done. I have pictures from the entire process. I posted them periodically. I'll post like a gallery or a flip book or something on our social media for anybody curious about it. Looks wonderful.
It looks great. I saw pictures of it, and thank you, because now we have to renovate our bathroom.
Yes, call me. I am in.
Because you've renovated your bathroom.
I know things I never thought. Tile saw? Who knew?
Yeah.
Let's do it, man.
Yeah. So
you and me, towel rods?
So as soon as I'm done with this trim project
And then the APS 4.0?
No, actually, the bathroom will probably be before APS 4.0.
You've got to be kidding me.
I'm telling you, April 2019. If we're still around.
Can we be in the studio by April 2019?
I cannot commit to that.
Oh, this is time to put out an ad for a new co-host. taking my mic and half of that.
As long as his name is Steve.
I mean, I don't want to change the domain space.
Yeah, exactly. And
I'm taking this
can't
mic.
redo that logo.
Yeah, I'm taking this mic, half of that mixer, and half of that bag of Hershey's Kisses, and this thing is over.
That is the most important thing.
Yeah. So, yes, it's done. It looks amazing.
Looks great.
Don't worry. It has just spurred more projects that need to be done around the house, because little things. So, all new light bulbs in that bathroom. So you turn on the light, but if there's a light on in like the living room or the kitchen, and it's those old style light bulbs, we have a bright white LED light and that stupid 1980s soft yellow light or whatever, which I don't mind it, but it looks ridiculous positioned next to each other. Got to replace all the light bulbs.
Yeah.
We had a medicine cabinet that we had over the toilet that would screw right into the studs, and we would keep medicines, and then there was a shelf. We could put Kleenex for it. Don't want it anymore, apparently. So now there's no place to put our towel. We had crate. We painted a nice crate that we put towels in on top of that. It looked beautiful. No place to put the crate of towels. No place to put the Kleenex, because why wouldn't we buy a toilet with a flush on the top, Steve, so you can't put the Kleenex there?
Yeah, of course.
So Kyle still gets to do a few more projects.
Oh boy.
We have an idea.
Oh, yeah?
I am going to be screwing, like, I don't know why I'm struggling with the way to describe it. Just like a wood crate, like a wood box or whatever that you'll see, and spray paint it white. We currently have one. I am proposing that we go to a 3 crate formation.
So you're talking the crate, instead of the opening being on the top, it's like on the front?
Yeah, we will. Well, yeah. So we would just angle it so it would be, flat, and then the opening would be in the front,
Okay.
and towels would sit.
All right.
Now I want to do like the Y, like a Y pattern of crates, Steve.
Oh, boy, you're getting into patterns?
Well, because you don't just do 3 in a row. It looks stupid.
So you want to do like
And
one here, one here, one here?
Right, but all touching. So like,
Okay.
like a bowling lane.
Okay.
And I'm going to screw those right into the wall.
Are you?
So we're going
Are
back.
you?
Take 2.
Are you going to do that?
Kyle and wall anchors. I'm just going to buy all of them.
Well, how big are these crates?
12 by 16, 12 by 14, something like that. I want
don't
2
go
on.
wall. Go right into the studs.
What's
right
the-
into the studs.
Yeah, but if it's not centered, it's going to look stupid. If it's
Yeah,
not
but if
centered
they- if
between the
they're-
vanity and the bathtub.
But if they're that wide, you'll catch at least one stud on each of them. You want me to come over and...
Oh, yeah. This is a you and me project. I think this is you and me.
So you had already factored me into
No.
the
But I
equation.
think this is a Steve and Kyle project because
Okay.
worst thing that happens, we got 6-8 holes we got to cover on my wall. No big deal.
Yeah.
Plus, worst comes to worst, we just drill around till we find that stud.
Yeah.
Hope the crates cover those holes and then never take them down.
No, definitely not.
So
I'm in, man. When are we doing it?
as soon as we get the crates, as soon as we paint them,
Okay.
and as soon as I'm willing to look at the bathroom with anything other than anger and sadness.
So you've actually used the bathroom?
Yeah,
You
I
haven't-
took a shower
you
last
haven't-
night.
You haven't, it hasn't spoiled on you?
No.
And you go down and use use a hose in the backyard?
I'm still like somebody, oh my God, doesn't it look great? Don't you love it? I go, What do you mean? I said, I can't look at that thing right now with anything other than anger because of what it took to get it done.
Yeah.
But even today, I took a shower before coming here, and I thought, let me just step on this stopper a second. Just, see if the water will
so
fill
it's
up.
the-
Yeah, it's a push. And it fills up. But I didn't want to wait long enough to see if it filled up evenly. Because what can I do?
Yeah.
And that's just going to torture me if I start to fill it up with water and realize it's on like a 9-degree angle.
Right.
And you'll never see water in the back of the tub. Now, we leveled it, but I also did a lot of things that apparently don't pan out. So I don't know if that would work. Thank you to everybody for your support.
It looks great. I saw pictures of it. In all seriousness, it looks great.
Yeah.
I know that you were working hard on it for many days. So congratulations on
Thank
your
you.
first. That's your first
Big one.
first full room renovation.
Yeah.
and it's one of the difficult ones.
Yeah, that's not
Bathrooms and
easy.
the kitchens. Anybody can paint a bedroom.
Right.
Anyone can rip out carpet.
Sure.
Takes a real man to take 2 days to install a towel rod, though. So congratulations.
Prefer to refer to it as like 2 shifts.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's over 2 days. But
Yeah. So, you know what? Honestly, a lot of it was for me because I want to learn. I need to know this stuff. And I'm never going to be super DIY savvy and doing all of my own stuff.
Oh, you're on your way.
But I need to know some stuff about how to function and fix things.
Yeah.
And
Well, you get a better understanding of how things work.
Yeah.
So when the sink is clogged. Okay, I actually installed that sink, so I know kind of how it works now.
Well, some jerk at my house, Steve, a couple weeks ago, let potato peels go down the garbage disposal. I don't know who it was.
That's a bad idea.
Had a bit of a clog. Guess we didn't have to call anybody on that. This guy. And it wasn't a clog because they have, most garbage disposal. You just twist like an Allen wrench or something underneath, but it wasn't that type of clog. No. It's clogged in the pipe. I had to bust the pipe out, clean both joints,
Fish it all out.
push it back in.
No leaks.
Boom. No leaks.
Look at you.
Yeah. I'm going to start walking
Look at
around
you.
with a tape measure on my waist,
I think you should.
a pencil behind my ear, overalls, always wearing a Carhartt jacket.
Yeah.
That's the uniform, right?
Yeah, definitely. Speak in old-timey adages.
Yeah. I need a hat that looks like it was bought in the 60s
Yeah.
and washed in the 80s, and it's still here.
Yeah, you need the pickup truck that's like a little patinaed.
Yeah.
You can still kind of see where it said like Frank's DIY Handyman Company.
Yeah. At least one or two of the screwed on letters of Ford or Chevrolet missing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I have to drag my hands through concrete for probably a week to make them that
Nice and
callous.
rough.
Yeah. But yeah, it's done. I'm happy. It looks like a bathroom. It has a toilet, a sink, and a shower.
That's impressive, man. Congratulations.
Fast 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5.
Steve, we have the biggest thing of
how
the
did I
week.
do-
And now I know. Oh, boy. Yeah, I way overshot.
I was looking at the time.
Yeah.
Well, luckily, we only have. There's only one. There's only one matchup.
Where's the music?
Oh,
I gotta,
no,
I mean, you expect me to break this down?
All right, just give me a minute. So
it's always give me a minute,
You can,
Kyle. Kill some content. So it's time finally before he gets into the music. Now, if you're just tuning in, Steve's stomach
throw goblin tournament I believe
makes awful noises. And over the course of the 20 months this podcast has been going on, we started recording these, compiled the best of the best, the top 16 of these in what we called the Steve 16. We seeded them. The committee met for hours debating the seeds of these universities. And what we came out to was the Steve 16. Now, 3 weeks ago, the opening round matchups, the Steve 16, we pared it down to the What I Ate. We pared that down last week.
Still very proud of that name.
That's a great name. We pared that down to the Fat Mouth 4. And what we have left this past week, the final two of the final three matchups, Steve, we had the Fat Mouth 4. And I was very excited. Now, we talked about it going into the tournament, Steve. A lot of chalk.
Yeah, a lot of chalk.
And you know what they say? If you're going to fight, you got to be a winner.
That, and if you're going to ride on the train, you got to pay the freight.
I mean, this guy's about to tell you. Oh, that's right. If you want to be the best.
To be a fighter.
This is our one shining moment. Now, if you are bored in the next week, we need to put together the montage of these 16 teams into the first 40 seconds of the song. 'Cause that's as far as we get.
Right, that's all. It's literally going to be 18 seconds worth of audio.
But anytime he has a
competitive, play, work, eat. Every day is repetitive, never really sleep. Stay away from the sedatives, thinking positive just to take away the negative. We don't submit and give up during the obstacles. We could do anything. Nothing is
I don't know why or how this became the official song, but I love it.
Because I went to a music source and I typed in royalty-free basketball song, and this came up.
Now again, if you want to be the best,
you've got to be a fighter.
So that's what we have here, Steve. Mm-hmm. We have the best of the best, the Fat Mouth 4 this past week. This at Steve and Kyle on Twitter, Facebook.com/Steve and Kyle. The matchups were posted. We had, what were they, a number 1 seed and number 2, I think 2 number 1 seeds and a number 2 and a number 3 seed had made it into the Fat Mouth 4 in the final 2 matchups that we had in this tournament that somehow is dragged on longer than the actual
tournament.
NCAA tournament.
Much longer.
So the final 2 matchups we had, Steve, do you have that audio handy by chance?
Yeah, of course I do.
We were left with, I believe it was number 1 seed Episcopalian, or Esophagus Episcopalian.
Sure.
We had Dumbmouth Community College was still in there.
Yeah.
Mucus U.
Yeah.
This podcast prides itself on its preparedness.
Yeah, well, here, I can give you a glimpse of the 2 matchups that we had left. Number 1 seed, Esophagus Episcopalian University.
Takes on number 3 seed Mucus University.
I would be shocked if Mucus University pulled off the upset.
Now, this was the remaining 3 seed, right?
Esophagus Episcopalian. Listen to the crackliness.
That has a couple of levels to it. Like it started, but in your neck, and and then moved to your throat and changed course halfway through.
Yeah, it definitely, it was a traveler. We'll call it a traveler.
Yeah, it was. It went a long distance and somehow maintained its viscosity all the way through and out of your mouth.
And you are correct. That was a number 1 seed esophagus Episcopalian and a number 3 seed.
That was the big Cinderella.
Mucus University. Yeah, Mucus University taking out Vocal Cord Valley, the number 2 seed in the first round, just walking all over Gullet Institute in the second round. Gullet Institute, by the way, the number 1 seed out after the second round to Mucus U.
That was tough road. Tough road. They had to take out a number 2 and a number 1 just to get to the Fat Mouth 4.
Yeah.
And what is their reward for doing that to get out of their own division, Steve? Another number 1 seed esophagus Episcopalian University.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. So, do you want to see the voting? How the votes broke down?
Let's pull up the voting on these. And we can break down the matchups and then obviously give a quick look forward to the Throat Goblin National Championship game.
Yeah, now what was to be a Cinderella story just did not materialize for Mucus University. Just getting absolutely destroyed in the polls. 76% of the vote going to Esophagus Episcopalian University, just 24% to Mucus U.
What a steamrolling! Now you've got to wonder, Steve, having to pull through and beat a number 1 seed and a number 2 seed just to get to the Fat Mouth 4. They had to be a little bit gassed. They make it to this matchup, and the slipper fell off on the way out of the ballroom, Steve.
Sure did.
3-1. They get walloped by Esophagus Episcopalian, showing that's a thoroughbred right there.
Absolutely.
And they mowed down a lesser university. The run is over, but that's not to be taken away. Mucus U is a number 3 seed.
Mucus U, I bet Mucus U is back next year. We're going to see them in this tournament once again.
Absolutely, and
mainly because we're not going to possibly be able to come up with 16 more names.
It'd be a lot of work.
That we need.
Be a lot of work.
Yeah.
So Esophagus Episcopalian University moves on to the Steve 16 National Throat Goblin Championship.
Yeah. Now let's make our way over to the stomach division and the bowel division. The stomach division, we've talked about them all tournament long. Dumb Mouth Community College, the number 1 seed that's been playing a little chippy. They've been playing. They got that number 1 seed, but you would have expected them to be a 3 or a 4 seed.
Yeah, no,
everybody was a little surprised. So they're out there with something to prove.
Yeah, they're a community college making their very first appearance in the Steve 16. So like you said, playing probably a little bit more aggressive than a lot of teams like, a little more physical than teams need to be in this tournament. Mm-hmm. Well, they ran up against a number 2 seed, Steve, Uvula State Technical University, that had taken no easy road of their own to get here.
Well, you obviously remember that they lost 4 seniors last year to the draft, so it was a rebuilding year for Uvula State Technical University.
Or so we thought.
Because they took on Dumb Mouth Community College. Uvula State Technical University, a number 2 seed, and Dumb Mouth Community College, a number 1 seed. And in case you need to hear that exact thing again, here's what it sounds like. Number 1 seed, Dumb Mouth Community College
versus number 2 seed, Uvula State Technical University.
That one almost sounds like a bark.
It did. Yeah, it's in your face. Yeah. Like, hey, like you're trying to get someone's attention. Hey. Oh, hey, my eyes are up. Yeah. What do you need? What can I do for you? So the number 1 seed, the Dumb Mouth Community College, busted, what do they call them? The
busted teeth?
Something like that, yeah. Takes on Uvula State Technical University. And now this is the game people came to see, Steve.
This was indeed the game that they came to see. If you were voting on Facebook, it was a dead heat. They each had 50% of the vote. The voting was split exactly down the center. It wasn't a 51-49 or a 50.5 to 49.5 or whatever the math would be. It was dead down the center. So Facebook, complete wash.
Thank goodness that we had both these avenues, because we had zero recourse if it was to be a tie.
Yeah.
The committee had not met to discuss the potential of overtime.
Oh, we would have just lied.
Pick our own. Pick whatever one
pick
we
our
like.
own. Pick whichever one meant that we didn't have to redo the voiceovers for the final round.
I would agree with that.
I mean, those voiceovers, you heard them. They probably took, it's a 23-second long clip.
Yeah.
They probably took us 24 to 25 seconds.
Listen, that's a lot of time. Time is money in over here, and that could have been one advertisement that we didn't get to do in James Earl Jones' voice.
True.
But you mentioned the Dead Heat on Facebook, and that's why we went to both avenues, Steve. Different crowds. Twitter, the difference maker here.
Twitter definitely decided for the nation who was going to be moving on to the national championship game in the Steve 16 Throat Goblin tournament. Are you ready for the big reveal?
I am. I can't wait to see who moves on.
Twitter decided that Dumbmouth Community College would be going home, and Uvula State Technical University, with 55% of the vote, upsets the number 2 seed, upsets the number 1 seed, Dumbmouth Community College. Uvula State Technical University moving on to the big dance.
The rebuild happens so fast for Uvula State. Quite a road they've made themselves, so they have beaten a 3 seed and now 2 number 1 seeds to get. They could very well, Steve, now if they win this next week, Uvula State Technical University takes on Esophagus Episcopalian. If they win it all, they will have defeated all 3 number 1 seeds in the bracket.
It's incredible.
Nope. Sorry. There's 4 number 1 seeds in the bracket. They will have defeated 3 of the 4 number 1 seeds in the Steve 16.
So if you want a little preview of what the matchup is going to sound like, and again, you can vote on this on Facebook and on Twitter. These polls are open. If you're listening to this podcast within 6 days of it being released, go to Stephen Kyle, Facebook.com/Stephen Kyle or at Stephen Kyle on Twitter. Vote on this very matchup right here to determine the national champion. Number 1 seed, Esophagus Episcopalian University,
versus number 2 seed, Uvula State Technical University.
Ooh, similar styles of gameplay.
Absolutely, and you can listen. The girth on both of those, and nothing to shake a stick. The actual audible, you can feel that. That's not. There's no breath in between.
It's got some staying power.
Those are nice, and that's what we've pared it down to now. Mucus U is a great story. That was fine. I'm sure they enjoyed the run of the Fat Mouth 4.
Yeah,
but what we had to. It's time for the true contenders to be put on the national stage, and that's what we have here.
Absolutely. So again, Facebook.com/Stephen Kyle or at Stephen Kyle on Twitter. If you're voting, if it is before April 15th of 2018, you can still vote on these right now to help us determine who the national champion is going to be for the Throat Goblin 2018 Steve 16 tournament. Boy. Gets you pumped.
It's been a good run, a good tournament.
I mean, gets you excited for next year already.
I'm already looking forward to it. We already have a couple in the hopper.
We're 49 weeks away.
Yeah. I figure next year we started on time, maybe a week early.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, typically March Madness is done in March.
We will, but it's going to be busy. We're going to be working on APS 4.0. So, things get lost.
APS what? What are we doing?
It's APS 4.0.
Oh.
Starting around the time of that next year.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Boy, that's darn iPad.
Really just
comes up out of nowhere.
Jumped right in there.
I mean, I don't run any of those buttons, but it seems like it just had a glitch.
All right, number 1 on my list, Wrestlemania. The big event last night.
The grandest stage of them all, Steve.
That's what they call him. They call it the granddaddy.
The grandest stage. The granddaddy of them all is the Rose.
Right, WrestleMania.
Yep.
The greatest spectacle in sport.
A tremendous first 2.5 hours.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm looking forward to coming back to that.
Sure.
Next, Conor McGregor.
You have to fire him. This man is a hazard to himself and his company.
All right, so you're not in the camp that it's all a work.
No. I'm in the camp that he's a moron.
Next, Jimmy Kimmel, Sean Hannity feud.
Yeah, didn't like the way either person looked there. And that's weird to say because Sean Hannity's not a good person. But yeah, I don't know if Jimmy Kimmel looked great during this.
No, definitely not. Okay, next, The Simpsons.
Yeah, it seems like every now and again they seem to grab a headline, right?
Yeah.
And no exception here. They did what they need to do to stay in the spot. This is something that we'll see in 20 years, and they'll say, "Oh, do you remember when The Simpsons did this?
You remember when they made a social statement?"
Yeah.
And finally on the list is LeBron James.
Huh. This could be in reference to a lot of things. Is this in reference to his feud with Nick Saban?
No. This is in reference to just the rumors about him leaving.
Oh,
Cleveland.
right, leaving. Okay.
Because he is rumored to be.
Yeah.
Read an article yesterday. He's rumored to be leaving because Dan Gilbert, the owner of the Cavaliers, is a huge Trump supporter, and LeBron is not a huge Trump supporter. Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if LeBron would leave. He's a spectacle unto himself. He already, from everything reported, is him and Dan Gilbert have never been on good terms. After he left the first time, Dan Gilbert wrote a really nasty note saying they'll never win a championship with him, yada yada. They somehow mended it enough that he came back, won a championship.
He won 2 championships with Miami.
I think 2 in Miami, came back to Cleveland, won 1.
Mm-hmm. But they've been there 3 times.
So, yeah, 2 or 3 times, right. I think. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. It's going to be another summer where every other day it's, he's meeting with so and so, and then if he knows what's good for him, he will not do another TV.
Yeah, I think he's probably
episode.
Learned his lesson from that.
He did it properly last time. I think he just penned a letter in the Players Tribune.
Yeah, I'm coming home.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. I think it worked great. Great PR move.
He kind of he ate a little crow.
Yeah.
Swallowed his pride, said he made a mistake, and he's coming home. Yeah. All right, next is The Simpsons. They addressed the Apu stereotype.
I mean, it's a cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Comic book guy.
Right, yeah.
Stereotype, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. So, yeah, but I believe it was a documentary or an author, right?
Yeah,
wrote a book or had talked about Apu.
Like the issue with Apu or the...
Oh, yeah, I think you're right. I think it was called like the issue with Apu. Now, I didn't see what The Simpsons did. I just saw the headline because that's... The Simpsons is like... Because South Park, if they're getting a feud, South Park will have a... Like that Sunday, they'll have it referenced. But The Simpsons, like this thing...
It takes so long.
Yeah, it's like 7 months ago. Hank Azaria voiced these lines in 2016, probably.
Yeah, it was last November, the documentary, The Problem with Apu, explored the problematic nature of Apu and looked at how non-South Asians would use the blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, good for them for addressing it, but now it's just back in the spotlight. But good for them. I mean, it's a show in its 30th year. They could use a little headline here and there.
Before that, we had Jimmy Kimmel and Sean Hannity's feud.
Yeah, feud over a joke that Kimmel had made, right, about Melania.
Kimmel made a joke
about her accent,
mocking Melania's accent.
Not a good look.
No, probably not. Not really surprising, I guess. It's been getting pretty heated lately, so and it was kind of disappointing because Kimmel always kind of, like, not to say took the high road, but he always had his jokes were always more like, it was smart. It was kind of smart and like intellectual jokes.
Sure.
So it just made him look better.
Right.
It made him sound better. But when you just go to like making fun of somebody's accent,
right?
It's kind of like it's like. I hate to say it, but like, come on, man, couldn't come up with anything better.
Right.
I don't know.
It's just, I don't know. And I bet if you look back, and I know it's not identical or that similar, but, all the vitriol about Trump possibly making fun of that disabled reporter.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, and to a degree, this is a woman who knows 5 languages.
Sure.
I mean, no, sure. We all know what she's there for right now.
Right.
She's getting paid crazy amounts of money to stay with him right now. Yeah. Obviously doesn't love him. I think that's evident in everything you see.
Yeah.
But she's still, by all accounts, a very intelligent woman, a mother of children.
She's still the first lady.
Right.
She's still the first lady, and I think that it's different. It's one thing if you respect the office of the president. but it's just kind of like you don't take shots at the wife. You don't take shots at the kids. You know, like there were people that got fired right after the inauguration about comments that they made about Barron Trump and observations that they had because they said like, oh, what's wrong with this kid? Like, why does he look the way he does or something? Because, and like it's not fair. It's not fair game.
Right.
So
there's some things that are still off limits.
Yeah, it's one thing to criticize the president. That I mean, there are a million reasons that you could, whether you like him or you like the last guy or you didn't like them or you didn't.
Sure.
So, but yeah, so Hannity fired back saying something, basically dredging up old clips of Jimmy Kimmel on the Mann show. Referring to him as Weinstein Jr.
Just nonstop.
Or Harvey Weinstein Jr. because it's clips of Kimmel from 1990 whatever going out on the street and saying like, hey ladies, does size matter? And he's got like something sticking out of his pants. And so Kimmel eventually apologized.
Yes.
Although his apology still kind of took jabs at Hannity.
I think he was told to apologize. He was told to apologize and leave it alone, I bet.
Yeah, he said something about I'm so happy that you've I'm happy with your newfound stance on women's rights or something like that. So he was still being Kimmel in the clip or in the apology. So. Sure. But has Hannity said anything else after the apology?
He tweeted that he's going to address it on his show, which will be tonight, I think.
All right. Before that, we had Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor kind of lost it at the presser for UFC.
This isn't the first time. 223.
Did you watch that?
I did not, no. Okay. Because half the card was canceled.
Yeah.
Listen, the guy's a nutcase, and this isn't the first time he's done it. So the previous time was at an actual press conference with him and another fighter. Like, they were throwing tables over, and he was whipping cans of energy drink at the other fighter's head, and there is a groundswell of people that believe he just does cocaine regularly.
Okay.
Because no person normally would ever act like this.
Stupid question. That's tested for.
Don't know.
Would that be? I mean, I can assume that would be a banned substance.
Yeah, and maybe in fight, but I don't know how long it stays. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, the way he acts seems like that. Well, in this case, where attacked a bus full of UFC fighters, throwing a hand dolly, a guardrail, and something else. A couple garbage cans, breaking glass,
pounding on the windows, yelling at his cronies.
Yep.
Punch the windows out. And threw a hand truck through the window. Obviously, window shattered. Some glass got into. I forget what his name was.
So there was a Chiesa what I forgot.
I think it's Chiesa.
Okay. He was cut, and the commission would not let him fight.
Yeah, because he was supposed to fight on Saturday night.
Correct.
Didn't fight. There were other people. I know somebody got glass in
somebody
their
else
eyes.
Had glass
I don't know
in
if
the
that
eye,
was him or not.
Could not fight. So that's 2 fights canceled just because of that. Mm-hmm. And the woman who was defending one of her titles was so rattled that she almost withdrew.
Yeah.
So
Rose something. I forgot what it was.
Yeah, there's no way you can pronounce that last name.
Yeah, that was a long one.
The guy's off his rocker, but yeah, like you said, we're at a point now where UFC and Dana White are turning so much into wrestling that there's a legitimate question: is this fake? Is he doing this to drum up whatever next fight McGregor is going to be having, whenever that is? Personally, I don't think it is, because once you start putting your other fighters' welfare at risk, if it ever came out that this was faked, those fighters who had to essentially canceled their paychecks this past weekend would have so many grounds for a lawsuit. It would be insane.
If it's fake, it was a great fake, because I watched the video and I don't know, it looked pretty real to me. Either fight or stay away. He has not fought in the UFC in 2 years,
and
it was all over because like a buddy of his,
or something.
Yeah, like they basically, him and the guy who he was going to be fighting, like, exchanged words when they saw each other in the hotel.
Yeah. It's like gangs in a jail.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, I'm sorry, you approached him wrong, so now we have to beat you up in the corner of this cell. This isn't the mafia, man.
Yeah.
This is an organized company worth $4 billion.
Yeah.
Act like it. You just made $100 million last year.
Yeah. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Oh, no, I forgot WrestleMania. Man, I am just trigger happy with...
Yeah, big show last night, Steve. Started at 5 p.m. Eastern. Now, that's standard time, and that was very prompt. 5 p.m. The show ended up going for 7 hours and 5 minutes. Finished up at 12:05 a.m. That's, again, Eastern Standard Time, Steve.
Who was the main fight?
The main event was Brock Lesnar, the Universal Champion, taking on Roman Reigns, the upstart challenger who nobody likes. Booed out of the arena that match was.
Wow.
Ugly. Very ugly.
Just a bad match?
Well, people didn't want it. So everybody has pretty much known that Brock Lesnar is leaving, going back to the UFC. And
is that official? That hasn't been made official
Well,
yet, right?
it was made official about 20 minutes ago that Brock Lesnar is re-signed with the WWE.
Oh.
Yeah.
Huh.
In quite a swerve. So, yeah, this match went on. So the crowd essentially was looking at a guy they thought was leaving the organization versus the guy who was essentially anointed the champion, who they did not want anointed the champion. So they responded by throwing beach balls around and jeering the match and not paying attention. And it was noticeable on the broadcast until there was just a massive cut on Roman Reigns' forehead. Gave him what is referred to in the biz as a crimson mask, just blood everywhere from an elbow right to the top of the forehead, or a razor blade. You be the judge. And it was a sad end because the first 2.5 hours, the first half of that show was tremendous. Ronda Rousey's debut went off without a hitch.
Okay, because I was wondering when you said you enjoyed the first couple hours of it, because I didn't know where her match fell in there. Everything I've read is giving such praise to how her first match went.
She was good. She was good. I wouldn't say she was great, but she doesn't have to be great. She's going to be a star down the road. So the way she performed last night was fine. That was great. There was a women's match that was great. An intercontinental title match that was great. Yeah, the first half of the show was awesome, and then they had a tag team title match where a guy picked a partner from the crowd, and it was a 10-year-old child. I appreciate the novelty of it. Say this guy saying I don't need a partner, but
so what is it? Make-A-Wish?
No, it was just one of the referee's children.
Oh,
yeah, very weird. Honestly, it WrestleMania, and they say it's not for the wrestling fan per se. WrestleMania is for the casual fan who turns in during WrestleMania to hopefully get them to come on board. For that purpose, it was a spectacle. It was beautifully produced, as they all are, with glamour and glitz and lights and fireworks and fun had and messes in the ring everywhere. Fun show. I enjoyed it.
Just not the end.
Yeah, boy, that last hour. It drags. 7 hours.
That's 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The Masters.
Didn't watch 1 second of it. Boy, though. Jack Nicklaus's son or grandson.
On Wednesday.
That was pretty awesome.
Yeah. Patrick Reed, the winner of the Masters.
Yeah.
Patrick Reed, I'll come back for your thoughts on him.
Yeah, can't wait.
Jimmy Kimmel.
Not a good look.
Yeah, I think we're in agreement there.
Yeah.
Ugly. Syria. I didn't know a better way to narrow it down. Oh, my God, Steve. You're lucky I'm here.
I'm not. You are my pipeline for breaking news.
A Quiet Place.
Oh, I want to see that. The John Krasinski movie, right?
We doing it?
This week? We'll
figure it out. I was thinking, I want to go this week.
This is definitely something that will be discussed in about 2 months in the hashtag Loose Ends episode, that we never saw this, along with a myriad of other movies that we've talked about that we're going to see.
Yeah. Hurricane Heist.
Okay, that's probably not still in theaters, is it?
We could probably go to like the cheap theater.
You want to do a double feature?
If we can find a place, I would do that.
Okay.
And lastly, Steve, WrestleMania.
Lastly? Is that only 4?
Masters, Jimmy Kimmel, Syria, A Quiet Place.
Oh, okay.
WrestleMania.
Ronda Rousey. Rowdy Ronda Rousey.
Yeah.
Triple H.
Sure.
Stephanie McMahon.
So you watched? What was your favorite match?
Turnbuckles.
Yeah.
Moonsault.
Sure. Not Shinsuke Nakamura. Yep.
Pardon?
He turned heel.
Yeah.
A low blow on AJ Styles after the WWE Championship match.
Right. I know. That shocked me.
You don't.
Wasn't my buddy? My buddy was back.
Yeah, your buddy
night.
Daniel Bryan made his big return. He performed well. They did the fake stretcher job at the start where he was attacked and they act like they had to take him off, and then he appeared out of nowhere with a drop kick like 12 minutes later.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where did he come from?
Steve, I don't know. No, he performed well. There's pictures and video of him afterwards. He looks like the happiest man on the planet. I'm so happy for him.
Good for him.
This was his life. So
hopefully he is okay, and it's not
not smoke and mirrors.
Yeah, and, you know, a year from now or 6 months from now, he's back on the sidelines.
Now, the one I wanted to talk to you about, though, let's get your thoughts. Charlotte versus Asuka. Who'd you have? What were your thoughts?
The what?
That's why we come here. Before that, A Quiet Place.
No, I don't even know what those words
Charlotte versus Asuka is the big women's title match.
Oh, those are people. I thought that was like a basketball game.
Charlotte Flair, Steve.
Oh, I thought you meant Charlotte, like...
Woo. Charlotte Flair, Ric Flair's daughter.
Oh, she's a wrestler, is she?
She's a fantastic wrestler.
Is she?
Yeah. Great women's title match. A lot of people said match of the night probably should have been the main event. Looked great. Looked great.
Oh, I'll have to go back and not watch that one.
All right, so you're coming over, we're watching. Quiet Place, the horror movie, John Krasinski, first movie with his wife, Emily Blunt. I don't know who's more beautiful.
Boy, John Krasinski is a good man.
He's
the
tall.
Beard, and the beard. I mean, he was an attractive man as Jim from The Office.
Yeah.
But it's like he grew from a boy into a man.
And that son of a bitch with his hair.
And what was he? Wasn't he in some sniper
13 hours,
sniper movie?
13 hours about the soldiers of Benghazi, and he bulked up for that. He's going to be in, I think it's Amazon Prime show, Jack Ryan, which is based on the Tom Clancy novel. So, yeah, God, he's a handsome man. Emily Blunt's gorgeous.
Yeah, but I mean, she's no John Krasinski.
She's no John. $50 million for a PG-13 horror movie that people say
PG-13, really.
Yeah, and that's why I'm nervous to go see it. But people say it's so unique because it actually makes you in the theater stay quiet because that's the whole marketing.
We had talked about this a little bit on the side gig earlier today, and I said that I saw an article yesterday where a bunch of people had they had a bunch of tweets embedded in the article from people saying the same thing, like, I'm afraid to chew my popcorn because I'm afraid for everyone's safety.
Yeah. Unbelievable. I can't wait. We need to see it.
Yeah.
You need to talk to your wife. We'll get her out there.
Let's do that. Oh, she will not be there.
Syria.
She will definitely not go to it. Syria.
Yeah, so you didn't hear about what is reportedly government gas attack on its civilians.
Oh, I did hear about that.
Yeah, a couple of dozen confirmed dead children.
That's not new for them, right? They've done that before?
No, but this is kind of how it went with Saddam Hussein in the 90s, and that's part of the reason that Desert Storm happened initially. Chemical weapons attacks on your own civilians. So, a couple of dozen dead inside secured buildings. Has all the markings of a gas attack. And first time ever, Trump actually blamed and attributed some of the blame to Putin.
Wow.
So
I didn't see that.
Maybe this is a bit of a step forward for sanctions or whatever, but that remains
his buddy.
He's not remains to be seen. But Syria seems like the wild, wild west of the Middle East, which is crazy to think because a lot of places over there are already the wild west of the Middle East. But this is bad.
They're the new ones.
Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah, we talked about that. Not a good look for him or Hannity. It'd be interesting to see what Hannity's response is.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's just going to be as smug as Kimmel's response was.
Right. Especially with him. You can essentially call him the hairdo over there.
And, I mean, Hannity kind of has the upper hand, too, because...
Right. He already got the apology.
Yeah, he got the apology. Yeah. And the fight wasn't between... it wasn't anything that Hannity did. Hannity defended somebody that Kimmel mocked.
Sure.
So it's easy to just keep throwing out these old videos of Kimmel looking like a pervert on the Mann show.
Yeah, that's the easiest form.
Yeah.
Lastly, Steve, the Masters.
The Masters, the granddaddy of them all.
Yeah. That's weird you said that about Wrestlemania.
The most spectacular moment of sport.
So Patrick Reed, 3 rounds in the 60s, Steve, comes out Sunday with a 9-stroke lead over Jordan Spieth, the upstart mid-20-year-old. 3 years ago at Augusta National, Jordan Spieth had a meltdown on the back nine, if you can believe it. So 3 years to the weekend, Steve, Jordan Spieth comes back. 9 strokes back coming in Sunday morning, he charges. He charges. Tied for the lead, Steve. The story of the year, Jordan Spieth tied with Patrick Reed. Ricky Fowler 1 or 2 shots back. Jordan Spieth, oh, that's weird, the music's so... on the 18th, Jordan Spieth bogeys, Steve, drops another shot. Oh, my Steve, my microphone.
I'm sorry, what?
It feels like there's a...
It's weird, there's a...
It's not... Steve, I'm not done. Patrick Reed won.
Are you done?
Tiger Woods, what a...
Yeah, the Masters happened, right?
Man, I could go on.
I know.
Do you want me to?
No.
I mean, when's Ricky Fowler going to get one?
Anyway, are you done? Can I...
Yeah, Steve 16. Granddaddy of them all.
Granddaddy of them all. Oh, man. Be sure to go to Facebook.com/Steve Kyle or @StephenKyle on Twitter. Vote in the Steve 16, the big matchup, Esophagus Episcopalian University versus Uvula State Technical University. That is your national championship game. You got about 5 or 6 days to vote on that. Again, social media, go to Steve and Kyle on Twitter and Facebook.com/Steve Kyle. And of course, you can download the latest show and share and send it to all your friends. You can download, subscribe, and review the show on iTunes, the Apple Podcast app, Google Play, TuneIn, Stitcher, YouTube, and Libsyn, StephenKyle.LIBSYN.
5-star reviews help.
.com. Yeah, if you can find a way to make a 6-star review, go ahead and do that.
We got some ground to make up, apparently.
Got to bump things back up a bit.
It'd be weird if there's a weird influx of 1-star reviews somewhere else.
Yeah. Sure would be. Okay, so, yeah, get those votes in over the next 5-6 days or so, and we'll talk to you next week.
It's a big game.
The granddaddy of them all.
Oh.
Talk to you next week.